Welcome back to Real Estate with Mariah and Spence. Today we are sharing some secrets that your real estate agent might not want you to know. Some industry secrets that if you are not a real estate professional, I think you're probably going to want to know if you're a buyer or a seller, just from what I've seen, a lot of buyers and sellers just aren't aware of, and they don't know that these are the way that things are. So it'll be a good show.
This is a great topic though, because last week I'm on this phone call. It was a past client of mine's mother, and they're selling their house and purchasing another house here in the Valley. We're not representing them on the deal, but they had a couple questions. And ethically, am I right to take the phone call? They had some simple questions about the ethical side of their current broker. And I just feel like that today's show might clarify some of the conversations them and myself had that week and a half ago. And maybe this could help you guys out. And ultimately, this does help you select, what agent to be using, because not every agent is the same. Agencies, meaning what brokerage they're under, Berkshire Hathaway's us, Keller Williams, HomeSmart, whatever your local real estate brokerage is nearby, just because they have that name behind them does not make all agents the same. We are independent contractors, and we're independent, right? So everybody has a different way of doing things, different personalities, and just ultimately motivations.
Definitely. That's something I think a lot of consumers maybe aren't aware of, is that each real estate agent is a business, and they're their own business. So there might be, there's us, we're a team. So we're one business, I guess you could say. Yeah. But then there's another broker, for example, at our same office. We're all with Berkshire Hathaway, but we are two separate businesses. We're running separate businesses, and everyone runs their business differently and does things differently. So the first thing that you probably should know that your agent might not want you to know about is that your agent can credit you some of their commission. So I will give an example of this. This is something we have actually done a really good handful of times to save a deal. And I mean, it surprises me how many instances there are where the seller and the buyer are, let's just use this example, they're negotiating repairs. They're in their inspection period, they're negotiating repairs, and the buyer and the seller are about to walk away from this deal over $500 because neither of them will budge. The seller won't do the $500 job or give $500 credit or whatever, and the buyer isn't willing to buy it because of this. And so that's when we step in and we're like, you know what? If you still want the house and it's really, you're just not willing to budge over $500, we will take it out of our commission and save the deal. And we've done this on all kinds of properties, even some that, earlier on in the business that were mobile homes, and our commission wasn't a whole lot anyway. No. But I'm always happy to step in and save the deal if that's what it's going to take. And I think that's something that your realtor should be willing to do for you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, though, is what are you willing to do to save a deal? Yeah. The tough thing is, we don't want to be reducing our commissions ever. That's not something I ever look to do. There's usually always a simple compromise to it. But at the end of the day, if it comes around $500 or a home warranty, I'm going to step up and pay for the American Standard home warranty for $475 for you to feel confident in your kitchen appliances if one was to break within that year. It is frustrating, though, because I've personally, for instance, in the car industry, I'm not going to share the dealership. I'm not going to share the owner. But this dealer does a lot of business here in the Valley. We had a car, and all we wanted him to do was step up and do the right thing. Well, ultimately, he kind of gave us the pound sand route, which is which is completely fine. That's his choice to do. But when we talk about good business and bad business, I would say that's bad business. Doing the right thing, usually when nobody watching, that's great integrity. I'm teaching our 3-year-old now that. That's just something that's engraved in us, and just doing the right thing. So that might be us lowering our commission $500. Yeah. It might be sellers and buyers agents coming together and doing a $200 reduction. Yeah. But ultimately, we don't want to be doing that. Because at the end of the day, if you're worried about $500, me and our lender have this conversation all the time. If you're worried about $500 or, $30 more on your monthly payment, maybe we're not in the right market for you to be buying. Because ultimately, we don't want to put you in a bad position you can't afford, right? So if we're worrying and struggling about that lump sum of money, maybe we bag it and we save it for another date when you're really responsible or ready to do so.
That is good advice. Okay, so another thing, so along these lines is, I always think that as real estate agents, it is our job to put our clients' interests above our own. And that's what we signed up to do here. And so I think this just goes along with that, and it's super important. And so going along with that, though, is another thing that your real estate agent might not want you to know, or just like consumers, I think in general, are definitely not aware of this, is that there is a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. Realtors, so if you can have just every person with a real estate license, that would be just a real estate agent. But then in order to be a realtor, you get sworn into the National Association of Realtors. You pay some nice dues every year to the National Association of Realtors. Yeah. And you are also held to a higher standard. Your code of ethics, the standard for ethics that you're held to is even higher than just a regular old real estate agent. We are realtors, not just real estate agents. And I think that's something that a lot of people just aren't aware of, but realtors are held to a different standard, and there is a difference.
And by the word standard, I think Mariah also means like we have to take more continued educational classes. Yeah. Is that actually something?
Well, yes, but also just in general, we are like there's more rules for us, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like we are just held to a different standard. We have more rules.
We have to take more classes.
Yeah.
That's like a rule. So in which all this stuff, it costs money and it's out of our pockets. Our brokerages do not pay for this. This is our responsibilities because we are independent contractors.
Yeah. And another thing, this is a little side note, but I remember when I don't know if it's still this way, but I want to say it is. But when I first was getting my real estate license, our brokerage that we're with, Berkshire Hathaway, required at the time, and they probably still do, that every real estate agent at their office also became a realtor, which I don't know of any other brokerages in the area, at least, that are like that is requirement to be with them. And that actually really drew me to them because I want to be held to a higher standard. I want that, excellent agents around me. And so that was something I really liked about that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Another thing you might not know about your real estate agent is 49% of real estate agents are part-time. Many real estate agents are people who have full-time jobs outside of real estate and work a few deals a year. But the problem with this is, will they be able to show you properties during the day when you're available? Will they be able to take your call since they might be at another job? And I know we talk a lot on other platforms we have about something that I guess I'm really passionate about that we've been able to do is maximize the amount of money you're making while not working as much, if that makes sense. But that doesn't mean that we have another job that's taking you away from, I think that's totally different than having another job that's taking you away from your clients. Like, this gives us more flexibility to do a great job for our clients. You know what I mean? Like, we're always on call for our clients. That's the number one priority. And so, do you have anything to say about
the biggest compliment that I could ever be given when we're working a transaction? I'm on the phone at like 8 at night, and my clients are like, "Oh my gosh, thanks for calling me. Thanks for working late." I'm like, "This is our job. This is our life. We simply enjoy this. I don't consider this work. This is just something that needs to be done to get you where you want to be." And I think there's like a selflessness about this business too. Like the best agents really are truly more selfless than others. They don't have commission breath. They're real people just like you and I. Our audience, you guys viewing this right now, we're just people here, right? We're just trying to get somewhere that we kind of don't know how to get to. And that's us, the professionals you guys are going to be relying on. So at the end of the day, time is money, yes, but when you're working with us, you've hired us, okay? It's not the opposite way around. We work for you, and it's our job. We have a fiduciary duty to you guys, and I just can't see that if I was to be working part-time, say, at Costco, and I had a day job at Costco, and all I could do was 5 to 8 p.m., I just don't feel like I would be the professional. It's not that I'm a fraud or anything. It's just my service industry would not be as good to serve random clients, maybe family, friends, if they trusted that and wanted to refer that. But I just wouldn't feel all that well, and I just don't think it'd be working out because of all these real estate dues you have throughout the year. There's a lot of money just to get started in real estate.
I tried it. Do you remember when I was a newer agent? Well, when I first started, I had already had a job. I got my license at 18, and I was working at PacSun at the time at the mall. R.I.P.
True story.
And then I think it was about like a year into the business, and I was busy with clients, but I still just wanted, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do something else, and I was still a new agent. And so I got a job at J. Crew, and mainly for the discount.
She drove all the way up to Portland.
Yeah.
Like every day.
Horrible decision, horrible business decision. But anyway, both of them didn't last long. But both of those jobs, I had clients I was working with, and it was horrible because I was constantly sneaking to the back to get my phone and try to get back to my clients, and they were not getting the service they deserved. And it just was not, like, both of them, those jobs did not last long because it was just not working. It was very hard to do a great job for your clients while having another job where, maybe if it's something else where like you can have your phone, like a lot of people work from home and they aren't monitored, but like where you're at a job where like you cannot look at your phone or you'll get fired, then
near to impossible.
You should work with another agent.
Yeah, near to impossible, I'd say.
Yeah.
Real estate's harder than people really think. You know, the phone calls that I receive, even from some family, they say, Spence, I'm thinking about getting my license. What do you think? I always think it's a great opportunity. I'm a guy that's like, let's go get licenses to ride a motorcycle, drive a boat. I like having tools to add to my toolbox is what I call it. But I just want to inform people that it's not as easy as what people think. You know, like your first paycheck, you never know when it's even going to come, and then your tax on it, and then all your real estate fees. Just the startup cost, you're looking at $5 plus $10,000 or $5+ grand. And that's 10 months worth of real estate school too. I
think another thing is people might look at our life because we're not we're somewhat active, whatever, on social media, and we share some of our life on it. Mm-hmm. And people see that we have a lot of flexibility and we're able to go to the park during the day and like have a chill life for the most part, but they don't see that, like, they maybe think that like, oh, I can just get my real estate license and that would be my life, but they don't see the years that we were extremely intentional to get to this point of like hustling and working a ton and being just very strategic and intentional. It didn't just like get our license and happen. Like there is a hustle period, I think, where it's definitely not going to just all of a sudden be this like chill life.
We still talk about it though, like it is a routine of hustle. You get in these ruts.
You go in seasons. Definitely. Of like a few months of really, really chill, and then you got to go back and grind again. But
it can just be exhausting though, and you're just like, man, I haven't had to hustle in quite a while. Now I'm doing it, man. It's so hard. But like, I want to just like bring this one up, for instance, like we go to the park, we can have a gym membership, we go shopping in the middle of the day. Well, while I'm at the gym, for instance, like this morning, I'm in the hot tub and I sauna usually in the morning times. But guess what? I have my headset on usually, and my headset has one of those booms on it to where I can speak to people and talk.
He looks like Britney Spears.
Yeah, literally. And like, I'm surrounded by all these middle-aged plus men and women, and they kind of look at me like, man, how the hell is this kid here? Like, and I'm on my phone usually while in the hot tub doing emails, make sure I'm maintaining a transaction. And then if I have a post from like yesterday or something, like a photo, I usually take a photo of something and then it's saved in my phone, right? So then I can do my media stuff when I'm on my downtime, I call it. And that's hot tub and sauna. And that's a personal relaxation, but what's it called? Personal care time for me. Self-care time. But then self-care time. Yeah, but then ultimately, I mean, I'm still working, like that's what people are kind of not
they
understanding.
Don't get it. Something I used to do all the time, I kind of forgot about, was when I first got my license, like I said, I was 18 and I still lived with my parents. And for the first like couple years till we got married. And something I would always do is I would make my cold calls. Like I had business and I would literally just like sit there and make calls for hours by the pool in the sun in the summer. And it's like, I was working, but is that what, would people look at that and be like, you're not working, you can do this, or like, no, that's work. Okay. Yeah. Running your business is a beautiful thing. Okay. So last but not least, what your real estate agent might not want you to know is that you can fire them at any time.
Oh, I love this conversation.
Yep.
That's great.
It's more, okay, so this is something I would say is more for sellers, because I think buyers, I feel like, understand this more because the buyers aren't paying the realtor, so maybe they don't feel as much of an obligation. But a seller who has a listing contract with the realtor, what am I trying to say, can fire them for any reason. You just sign a little termination form and you do not owe them any money. You fire them, you walk away. Done deal.
And if that broker, for whatever reason, isn't getting back to you, because usually brokers want to avoid when they know it's like over. They just don't want to answer the phone, answer a text, answer an email. Call the actual agency they work under. So we're at Berkshire Hathaway. You would simply call Berkshire Hathaway and say, I need to speak to your principal broker, which is the agent's like overhead seer.
Yeah.
And they can terminate for you, because you just tell them the story, say, you know what, thank you. Because you're not mad at the principal broker. They're just the one that answered the phone, right? Ask them to send you a termination. They're going to send it to you, and it's going to be done. That's a segue into the story, though, that I mentioned in the beginning. I got a phone call last week from a past client of mine. His mother, their deal just wasn't working out. They thought that the broker's just kind of in it for himself. He's on the last days of the listing contract, and he kind of forced them into accepting an offer that they didn't necessarily understand. He left a very big point out saying, well, we got your home under contract, cool, but you guys got to be out of here in like 40 days. They don't have another home to move into, so technically they're going to be homeless. That's a big boo-boo. And they expressed it to him, hey, how important it is for the sale to be contingent upon them finding a replacement property. Man, so what do you do? What do you do in that situation? You know, so I'm not sure they could fire the broker at that point. They already accepted a contract. They're in escrow. But there is an ethical side to real estate. There's good business and bad business. Just like someone stepping up and taking care of a fee that's supposed to be taken care of, or them not, and just saying, go pound sand, move on, we're done.
Yeah.
That's a big point, though. You can fire at any time,
terminate
at any time. Buyers as well. If you're getting shown houses, 10, 20 houses, and the broker's just kind of there letting the key in, letting you get in and not doing anything.
Also, though, I want to say, okay, something I've heard, because I've had buyers come to me after going to multiple real estate agents, and a big complaint of theirs was that they didn't feel like they were doing anything for them, but they were sending them all the homes that were on the market. It's just, you have to understand certain situations. Like, we don't have a lot of inventory. So if you're looking in a certain price point and you're like, my agent's only sending me houses once every 2 weeks. Well, there's probably no new houses coming up. So that's probably the reason. And also, if a buyer comes to me and I just feel like there's a lot more back end work than people know about. So to them, because I've heard what you said, like, my agent's just opening the door and they're not doing anything. Like, there's a lot more back end work that goes into the entire process that you don't see. And so it might look like they're not doing much, but they're there for a reason. And I also feel like, as a real estate agent, if a buyer comes to me and they're like, yeah, I've worked with multiple realtors now, then I'm probably like, it's a red flag. Because you know how the saying goes, if you have a problem with everyone, or like you're probably the problem, like, or whatever it is, like, you're probably the problem if you keep firing all these agents.
Or, like, you know, you just need a little bit of education as well.
Yes.
Like, come and sit with me. Let's have a 40-minute conversation in my office. So you're going to come to me. And A, we're going to tell you what's on market, what's available. But then B, we're going to tell you the buying process, how things work. Yeah. And we did mention not every agent's the same. Not every broker's the same. There's over 3,200 other agents out there licensed in the state of Oregon right now. And only 20% of them are doing the business.
True fact.
Man, that's incredible. We mentioned part-time brokers. We mentioned full-time brokers, differences. I don't know how they can do their jobs. But average people, they make 5-7 sales a year, 7-9 sales a year.
No, the average is 3.
Are you sure still?
It was 3 a few years ago. I don't see it going up to 7.
It maybe went up.
Average is 3, guys. Okay. Because you consider all the people that just have their license but aren't actually like actively using it. So that's why it's so low. Yeah. Oh, but still.
It's tough though. It's a tough world, but there's differences in agents. So I know we didn't cover everything, the secrets, the hiddens, but we did cover some big points today when it comes to what agents don't tell you.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a part 2 someday if we think of more. Well, anyways, if you watch this video all the way through, hit the thumbs up button, share it with a friend, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we come on here every single week and talk about real estate. And we'll see you next week.